We'll look at Zanna. Ciao.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
All right, guys, this is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and also, of course, on United States, the FM network. You know, today's show is kind of different. As you can hear from the background, I'm recording, this part of the segment is not exactly recorded in the studio, but I am smack in the middle of Golden Valley, Arizona, exactly on Highway 68. Not in the middle of the Highway 68, but in front of a gun shop, okay? And I have with me a couple interesting gentlemen that I met probably about a couple weeks ago at the range. They wanted to try the Don't Trade on Us rifle. I'm very excited, and of course I'll ask them their opinion. But the point is, today we're here for a different mission. We will not talk mostly about the rifle, but we will talk about some, form of love. This is another part of love. How can you help your fellow humans? In this case, how can you help your fellow veterans? So it's an organization that try to help veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. That is something very important. Sometimes you don't need to be a veteran to get to the point, but everybody can go there. But it's a different way. Rather than just giving medications, sometimes, I don't believe really, I'm not a doctor, but my humble opinion, I believe that medication is not the answer. But love and maybe a companion and somebody can somehow help you to go through the stress. Like, for example, a pet can be, for sure, much better, maybe more natural solution. But, I'm just here watching and learning, and I'll bring him right now. Both of them. There are two people here. Here we go. I got Timothy first, and then Wes. Hi, Timothy. How are you?
Good. How you doing today, Luca?
Very good. And this is Wes. Hi, Wes. How you doing?
Very good.
Okay, guys. First of all, what is the name of the organization?
PTSD Dog Foundation Incorporated.
Okay. And you are located here in Mojave County, Arizona. Exactly where?
We're in Golden Valley at 3487 North Bouse Road on the mountainside.
Okay. And I don't want to guess, but, I guess you bought veterans?
I'm ex-law enforcement, and my partner's an ex-Marine.
Okay. So how did you come up with this idea? This is something kind of different idea.
At first, what I did is I had a gentleman call me regarding purchasing one of my German Shepherds that was ex-Marine. He had the worst PTSD I've ever seen so far. The gentleman approached me and told me he didn't have any funds, and was there any way that I could help him? And I'm a humanitarian. I wanted to help him. I got involved with the man. I stayed involved with him for about 8 months before he moved out of town. There was a couple incidences that showed me that I need to help more people, and that was we were 6 months into the training of the dog, and he called me up telling me he was going to kill himself at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, what's going on after all the work we did? And he turned around and told me that his neighbor was helping him, and the dog had gotten out and he couldn't find it. He had been looking for over an hour, and he couldn't live without the dog after everything we had done. The dog had changed his life so dramatically that he literally felt that was his only savior. So anyways, he was hurting himself out in front of his house. I did have to call 911. We did have to put him in an ambulance and send him to the hospital for his wounds that he inflicted on himself. Anyways, after that fact, I went looking for the dog. I found the dog 2 hours later at the VFW of all places where he attended. So anyways, well, I took the dog to the hospital. I told the nurses what was going on. They went and got the doctor. The doctor came out and talked to me. I told them the scenario. She let me take the dog back to him. I left the dog and went ahead and left because he was under a 72-hour suicide watch because what he had done to himself. Well, 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, I get a phone call from him telling me to come and pick him up, that the doctor was actually so convinced from him getting the dog back, she was going to release him. And it's just been one story after another just like that that's made me start the PTSD Dog Foundation. And now I teamed up with Timothy Schnupp, and it's just been a dream that us to be able to help people.
Very good. This is interesting because, as I said, I'm not doctor, I don't know, but I can understand because even when I don't have post-traumatic stress disorder, but when I have a tough day and I'm a little stressed out, you can have a drink or glass of wine, make you relax, or maybe other things you can do. But I have my little kitties or my dogs, just petting them, and it's proven, by the way. I read different articles. It releases a lot of stress. And then, of course, you can connect, you can bond, you can realize that this is your body. It is part of the family. And especially for many people out there, unfortunately, it's more and more common. Not everybody has a family behind. Sometimes they live alone. And to have an animal that you can become connected like that, I think it's very, very nice. Interesting. So, Tim, first of all, how did you get together with Wes?
Actually, I was living down in Bullhead City, and I was helping a friend out that lives in Golden Valley with her animals and her horses. She couldn't get hay to the horses, so I would drive back and forth and get her hay. And she had mentioned that she had known Wes for quite a while and what he did. And myself, as a former Marine, I went through some major trauma in 1982. And I've been dealing with it ever since and thinking that I'm an alcoholic and I've gone through AA, nothing worked, nothing helped me. And I just happened to go by and see him because he was helping people, and I wanted to see what he did with the dogs. After I saw what he did with the dogs and how he trained them and what he goes through himself in order to train these dogs for our veterans that have PTSD, I realized that at that point I had decided I gave up my home in Bullhead. I moved up here on property with him to do this, to do the training and everything. And this, for me, is my therapy in what I've gone through in my life. And it's changed my life exponentially.
Wow, this is interesting. And talking about the training, because, I'm curious. The dog itself, as I said, is an animal that is very intelligent. And, of course, when you treat them well, it connects back with you. Normally, that's what dogs are. They're probably more loyal than human beings, I believe. But you mentioned training, especially for the situation you try to train the dog for the potential human being, in this case a veteran that has some post-traumatic stress. What type of training we're talking about? What is exactly the dog should be able to perform?
What we do is we look for a balanced dog. We do breed German Shepherds, some of the top bloodlines in the world, but we also go to the Western Humane Society and rescue dogs that have the temperament to be able to be used for these circumstances. Mainly we try to go after people with PTSD, but that doesn't mean we won't help somebody that has a missing limb or just needs a companion dog. But the dogs go through training. It takes 3 to 6 months, unlike some of the other places take a year or 2 years. We're quicker at it. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I've trained over 15,000 dogs in my career. So what I do is I do use a 90-10 training, which is positive reinforcement. It means we build a drive into the dog for the dog to want to work for the person. I do, like Tim said, I do have to go through certain things, like with my night terrors and things like that. I have to kind of go off some of the meds that I take, and I have to actually take my dog out of my room and put him far enough away that he doesn't sense that I'm having a problem, and then I bring that client's dog into the room, and I let them pick up on what's going on with me so that I can properly reward them for them showing their response, and then retrieval work. If somebody is on medication such as insulin, the dog can go to the refrigerator and get it for them because maybe they're so low in sugar they can't even get out of bed. Turning on the lights for them, going and getting clothes out of a drawer. The dogs are pretty much capable of doing any task that's needed.
Oh, this is great. I mean, better than many people I know. They're more helpful. I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff, seriously. And, it takes time. I mean, and of course, then you need to find the dog. As you said, some dogs, I understand you go and rescue them. Some other dogs, they're kind of pretty much precious breeds. I mean, normally the shepherd, is not exactly a cheap dog, So how do you finance all this?
I actually retired successfully out of California, training for 35 years. I did put away money in a trust for my kids and everything, and then I set some money aside for me to operate and things like that. We have gotten low on our funds. I have spent quite a bit getting this going, and we are looking for the public's help to continue, but that's not to say that we won't. We'll do anything. Like literally we're doing a construction job just to have some money to, finance what we're doing and things like that.
Do you have a website or a way people maybe can contact you and maybe ask you more questions if they want to, maybe they want to donate?
We do. We have a website that's called PTSDdogfoundation.com. There is a donation page that you can go to help us out, and we would appreciate it. Everything from, buying dog food to toys to actually we even supply the dog food for our clients and things like that.
Okay, great. And you mentioned something before, I'm not really familiar with the lingo, the legalese, but 501c3, what are you exactly?
We're a nonprofit company. Basically, that means that we can collect donations to continue our company throughout its life. And I did set some money aside in a trust to continue it even after me.
Is this tax deductible? I'm just questioning.
Yes, this is tax deductible for anybody that would like to make a donation.
So that's great. I mean, people, out there, think about the end of the year, you can make choices. You can pay more for Obama's and blah, 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 whatever they're doing, giving $32 billion to Israel the next few years or whatever. Or you can donate a few dollars here in Golden Valley to this organization. I think it's a great alternative. You wanted to say something, I'm sure.
Yes. Mr. Patterson's being a little bit humble here, and I got to step in. He has been financing this from the beginning, and the 501c3, we're looking for somebody to help us to finish our final on it to get our letter back. He paid a gentleman through LegalZoom.com, and it didn't get finished. We are able to still get donations for the 27 months during this and everything like that, but we're looking for a little bit of legal help out there, which is really dire right now because we are in some really rough times right now. 80% of the dogs are donated to the vets from the kennel, and they're all German Shepherds, and like you said before, we do get some from the Western Arizona Humane Society for veterans that can't have a big dog, okay? And it's just gotten to the point, we do have the community involved. We have the VRT we're members of, member of the Elks, and the JAVC, and we've gotten to the point we really need the community involved because we have so many vets we're working with right now. It's just the two of us right now, and it's become overwhelming, and we can't turn our back on our vets. When I started this and I saw what he did, I vowed to myself that there was no way. And what's happened is we're getting more vets than we can handle just ourselves. Because
And also, another thing, people can also help with their time. I mean, of course, money, it's always good, don't get me wrong, because at the end of the day, you got to eat 3 times a day, and it's good that you take care of yourself first. But my point is also the expenses that you have, also cleaning. I mean, I can imagine even just to clean these dogs and their homes, I mean, the shelters. I mean, it's a huge work. I can imagine that because I got dogs too, and I don't do this as you do, but if you want to take care of those dogs, it takes time and love, and effort. So that's very understandable. It's not if I ask you questions, sometimes can be personal. You don't have to answer because this is part of humanity. And after all, you're here because you felt the need to help somebody else that probably you went through the same problems. You mentioned before, Tim, that in 1982, if I understand well, you had some tough times when you were in the service. Can I ask you exactly what is your experience? Do you have this type of post-traumatic stress problems? And if you can share with us a little bit, you don't need to go details, what happened the year? So something specifically?
Well, in 1982, I was stationed in Millington, Tennessee. I was going through Naval Air Station for avionics training. And during the schooling, I had come back from the E Club, that's an enlisted club on base. And I was on my way back to the barracks. And there was an incident that happened at the E Club with some sailors. And let's just say that their point of view as far as orientation didn't fall into mine. Okay, and I was a little bit sarcastic with them, and on the way back I got jumped and I got assaulted pretty severely, and that's when it all started, and that's when it all started going bad. For my career in the Marine Corps, I got reassigned and I went into combat engineer as a combat engineer and everything like that. But I never got over this, and it was something I really couldn't talk to anybody about, especially in 1982 in the military.
Okay, interesting. Is the point people think sometimes, post-traumatic stress, you must be in the middle of the battlefield. Sometimes it happens in maybe just in the backyard. The situation that can be very stressful just around where you live. And if I can ask you, Tim, anything personal with you? I mean, also for you, I'm sure you got some other reasons, because to connect with these veterans, they have this problem. Maybe you went through something like that too?
Yes, I did. I was working in law enforcement, and it was something that I felt that when I got involved, I wanted to change the world. I wanted to get in there and help people and things like that. And I was actually off duty, stopping at a liquor store that I frequently attended on my way home, and the people knew me there by my face, and there was a robbery occurring at the time. The clerk tried to tell me that they were being robbed, but he was overheard by the assailant. The assailant shot me from behind. I never actually got to see his face, and they didn't catch him for 9 months. But I have extreme night terrors and see faces at night, and it's very traumatizing to me. I wake up in cold sweats, crying, things like that. So it's something that until I got my dog, and he learned how to alert to my night terrors, he would literally wake me up to where I would wake up feeling refreshed, and not in this a violent mood, because PTSD makes you very aggressive, because I was unable to stop that man from shooting me. So it was just extremely traumatizing. I was shot in the kidneys. I do have some major health problems and stuff like that. So and I do have diabetes. So there's several things that I can train the dogs to do to help people.
All right, listen, this is very interesting, and thank you for sharing also your personal experiences, because sometimes they're very personal. We can talk about other people, but when it comes to us, it becomes even more personal. And I understand and I appreciate it. And this is the point, everyone out there, guys, this is a humble local radio show, but we can help each other. This is no entertainment. This is a way that we can finally connect to each other. Okay, and you want to get involved, that's the way. Maybe just go meet this gentleman here and see how they work, see what they do, see if you can help, how can you help. At the end of the day, maybe one day you may be the person needing help. So I think it's a great opportunity, and probably is a better place to live anyway. I mean, think about dogs, they're beautiful animals, and they find that we can help them out too, to getting out of that hole called, 7 days, before they go to death penalty. I mean, that's normally what happens. And every time you bring a dog out of their place, you give them a chance to leave, because normally they don't keep them for long. So it's a great mission there too. I want to thank you one more time, please, the website or phone number, how people can reach you.
It's PTSDdogfoundation.com. The phone number is 928-605-7592.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Wes. Thank you very much, Timothy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. One second. Timothy has something to say.
Thank you again, Gianluca. We appreciate your time and everything like this. We are in dire straits right now, so we are reaching out to the public majorly. Another number, I'm the marketing director, 928-234-3555. If there's anything at all you can do to help us to keep our doors open at this point, please contact us. And thank you very much, Sean.
Very good. All right, guys. Talk to you later. And with the show keeps going, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM. Do not go away. Ciao.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in 223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499. Made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Tread on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD Don't Tread on Us, free ebook How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30 rounds magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port Don't Tread on Us for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Okay, this is the end of today's show, and I wanted to thank you first of all for the patience and for your help. And when I say help, yes, because this is a show pretty much made also with your input. I learn a lot from my guests and also learn a lot from my listeners. If you have any idea, any type of guest would you like to suggest, I invite you to go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. There is my email, and please shoot me an email. And if you have any special ideas or topic, local or even international, after all, as I said, things may happen here in Mojave County, Arizona, or wherever in Needles, or wherever we are here in this area. But at the same time, the same things are happening here. They're also happening in other parts of the world. I'm going to have pretty soon guests from Sweden and from Australia, because at the end, we need to realize that whatever it's happening right now, it's happening everywhere. We're all in danger under this global tyranny called the New World Order. Now, also another important thing, I would like to remind you, if you want to support the show, please go to www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. There are specials there. You can also, first of all, find out the different distributors. You can find distributors that they are selling the coffee. That's great. And also, of course, you can support directly buying the coffee there. You can get, by the way, coffee for about $10, $9.99 a bag if you buy the special combo. So it's incredible coffee, is organic, is gourmet, is hand-picked and selected by myself, created this blend by myself, and more important, you have a unique packaging. For example, 1776, Coffee to Brew a Revolution. Of course, you have also the Straight Shot Espresso and Route 66. All right, guys, that's enough for today. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Ciao.